Well, good morning to Gretchen's Garden and Greenhouse. We're getting a little bit of rain, but it's really kind of pleasant out here. If you remember some time ago, we talked about we had microgreens in here, and this broccoli, when we took the microgreens out, we decided to see what it would do. Well, it did produce broccoli, as you can see here, but we cooked some for dinner last night. And it's not very good broccoli.
It wasn't even awful. It was worse than awful.
So apparently those seeds were good for microgreens, but not for the big plants. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and tear all these out. Hopefully it won't be too hard. I may have to, oh, there we go. We're going to tear these all out and we will plant. I've ordered some fall seeds to plant for the fall. So what we'll do is we'll take these, and the compost pile is right here. So we will chop this up and use them for compost. They'll be good for something, huh?
Well, they were only supposed to be microgreens, and now they're going to be feeding the garden next year.
Yeah. I think these big leaves, we don't need to chop those up too much, do you think?
No, they'll disintegrate.
Just the stems is what we need to,
for sure,
to chop. So that's what our project is going to be today. The only thing is we've got some beans planted in there next to those, so we got to be careful. These are just starting to produce.
Yeah, I'll be real careful when I pull these out.
So we don't want to disturb.
Yeah.
We don't want to disturb the beans, because, well, we've got all of the broccoli pulled up, cut up in the compost pile. So now I'm just kind of smoothing this out, trying to get the big lumps out of it. And this is where we will be planting some radishes, probably some cabbage, and some spinach for our fall crop.
But lesson learned that microgreens don't always turn into a great grown-up not beverage, but meal. In this particular case, they were microgreens for a reason.
Yeah, there was just something about them. They were bitter, and they didn't have good broccoli flavor. They just weren't good. They didn't make big heads. They were just kind of little blossoms, and so some of this stuff, like this, I just stash along here and let it rot in the...
Right in the bin.
Yeah, and it kind of keeps the water from running out along the sides too.
Oh, sure.
So,
oh, sure.
Yeah. So now I'm going to be doing some planting on this area that we prepared. So what I'm going to plant is some of this salad mix for microgreens. Thank you, for microgreens. And then spinach, and then these French radishes, which we found we really like. So I think down there, if you look down there, the water is really covers that area good. So I think we'll do our spinach and our radishes up here, and then that down there. What I like to do is where I have a hole in the water, I like to just make a little drill like that in here. And I think we've got one right there. And that's probably enough. So this is our spinach. And I'll just plant a few little seeds here. Try not to get it too thick.
And the reason you line it up with a hole in the pipe is because that's where the water comes out, and the new young plant that doesn't have a large root system will have water immediately.
Yeah. So that should do it for the spinach. Now the radishes, well, I can plant those kind of in between the spinach. because they will be done by the time the spinach gets any size. So we'll just plant these kind of on either side here. They should get water. Having to do this kind of with one hand because I'm protecting my left hand. We'll talk about that later on.
Well, while we're doing this, you might as well tell them the reason you got a glove on your left hand and not on your right is?
Yeah. Well, in my youth, we didn't have sunscreen. I can partially blame it on that, and then I can blame it on carelessness. But I had a biopsy right there yesterday, so I have a bandage, and I've got a glove to protect that wound. You really do need to use sunscreen, and I've tried a lot of different sunscreens, like the ones you just buy in the grocery store, and they get in my eyes and burn my eyes. So I don't like those. Then there's this push-up kind that you kind of like deodorant, you know, it's like, and you rub it all over your face, and that's pretty good. But recently, I bought some CeraVe face lotion, and it is 50.
Oh,
so
SPF 50?
Yes,
oh
and
my.
It doesn't burn, and it also moisturizes the skin, and that's the go-to one right now. I use the deodorant type stuff on my arms, but I like that on my face. So.
Okay, well, I'll put a link in the description then so that folks will know what you've got if they think they want to try it.
Yeah, I really do like it. Okay, now let's get, so please, whether you're fishing or gardening, protect your skin. Wear gloves on your hands. When I was gardening in my youth, I never could keep my gloves on, and I really work at it now. Now, as you can see, this is a pretty good variety of seeds.
Boy, it's just different colored stuff in there all over the place.
Yeah, and we'll just broadcast this.
Looking forward to those microgreens. Doggone, they're good.
They are good. We really enjoy those on our salad. Never thought I'd see the day that you'd be eating microgreens.
No.
Just about
never fear. Just never, don't grow any kale because I won't eat the stuff.
Okay, so I'm going to just pat this down a little bit to be sure that it's connected to the soil, and rough it up a little bit maybe to keep the birds out of it. Ooh, there's a little Spidey. Okay. Now we'll see what happens. Now we have to talk about a failure. Everything that we do experimental-wise does not always turn out. And if you remember, I put a jar over some cuttings here in this bed. And I didn't realize how much sun it got, for one thing. Well, it gets lots of sun. The jar's doing what it's supposed to. It's keeping it moist, but it also causes a lot of heat. So
that burned up those cuttings, didn't it?
Yeah, they don't look too happy, do they?
No.
So we're going to have to try something else, I guess.
Well, I think we can use the cover like that, Gretch.
Oh, look at that.
It's starting to put roots out, even though it's...
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
So maybe I'll leave this one and see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe this experiment isn't a total...
Maybe it's not a total failure, but all of you out there and watching on YouTube and Facebook, a lot of this is an experiment just to see what works, and we love hearing from you all if you've got some ideas for us.
So the moral of that story is you do not, in this hot heat, because it is August, and so we're in the 90s, you do not want to put that where it gets sun. And unfortunately, this is an east bed here, so that's west. So the hot afternoon sun, boom, hits that. And I didn't even think about it. So I will try one someplace else where it's shadier.
Well, you've
Or
already
we
done
can-
so in the porch.
Okay, should
You
we
want
go
to take a
look
look
at
at that? Yeah.
So this is our second part of the experiment. Okay, here we are in our sunroom, and right back against this wall, I have a little table where I do some stuff. You've probably seen it before. In the winter, I do the microgreens here. But I have a couple of cuttings started. These are the ones with the plastic bag, and they seem to be doing okay in there.
Yep.
And these are the ones, and this is working beautifully. Look at that. That's just like a propagation chamber.
Yeah. It makes it better because it's not in the direct sunlight here, because that mini greenhouse becomes super, super hot.
Yeah.
And when it's in the direct sun.
Yeah, I don't even have the grow lights on. I think it's doing really good, and we'll just keep our eye on it. And I believe these were roses here. And then this is just some other stuff.
Yeah, we'll put a label on it when we plant it out. We'll call
figure
it
out
stuff.
what it is.
We'll just put stuff on it.
I should have put a label on it,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what it was.
Oh well.
Something we wanted more of. Now, Al wants to talk to you about a new way that he's doing some weeding. So let's do that.
Now this is can't remember what we call this stuff, but it's
nasty.
We call it nasty clover. Anyway, and it's not that, but this stuff is really difficult to get rid of. And running a hoe over it just doesn't work. So let me show you a little trick that I discovered that helps about 80% of the time on this stuff. And it is, what you do is you start by loosening the plant.
This has horrendous roots.
Oh, that's the problem, is that when you leave roots behind, it
loves it. It thinks what
you're doing is propagating them. Anyway, so let me start over here and show you that often when you pull weeds, you pull them up and they'll come out with broke off parts and so forth like that one just was. And on this, I really don't want to leave any of those broken ruts. Now, what I found is, I push that stuff out of the way. As I start to pull on this, it's going to start tearing unless I tap the ground.
That's crazy.
And what it does is sends vibrations through the soil, I think. And make sure you don't tap the plant. You're tapping back there on the ground. And I want you to see it's just creeping out of the ground there. Now it's kind of hung around this sprinkler. See if I can just, I'll work that out. Now there's another root down in there that's starting to tear up. So let me tap it, tapping the earth away from the root slightly, so the vibrations. And now what you end up with is nice, clean roots. And notice that they go all the way out here to the end. We don't have any pieces left down there to propagate this further.
Wow.
And now it works equally well. Let me get this one right here. There, from there. That one I had already broken it, so it didn't work out so well. Now let's move on down right here to the end of this bed. And there's a spotted spurge right here. And it's one of these plants that you can see right there is the center of the plant. It's got a big taproot, and then you've got the arms, or whatever you want to call it, going out. So I'll loosen the soil. And now I'm just going to start not tapping at the root, but tapping out away from it, and then just putting a little bit of pressure on the root. that root goes back under the rock, so it's going to cause me a problem. But there, I can feel it coming loose. I want you to notice, see at that taproot, usually they break off about there. They get you all the way down into the ground.
That's crazy.
I just accidentally stumbled onto it. So if it's of any value to those of you out there in viewerland, well, please give it a try. It's well, it's not my method. It's just a way of getting weeds.
Well, before we close out today, I wanted to do a little update. If you remember, I put some food in these cannas that are in the pond. And if you take a look here, you can see where the roots or the leaves were kind of bad. And look at the new growth, how nice and green it is. And that's going to have to be deadheaded pretty soon. And that one over there has put up a new blossom. So I'm pretty pleased. I think they did need some nutrition, and I think those little aqua tablets that I got seem to be doing the job.
Well, that's it for this week, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. See you next time.
Bye.